I am known as the teacher. You may call me the teacher of righteousness. What does it mean to be righteous? What does righteousness mean? It means that those of us with understanding oppose the corrupt priesthood that has taken charge of our holy temple. A temple built in cooperation with foreign overlords, the Persians, while our holy land remains occupied. And so, we withdrew from the rest of society, forming our own sectarian movement, known by many as the Essenes, and by some, due to our fascination with our ancient patriarch Enoch, as Enochians.
For us, our whole identity is centered on our holy second temple, which is the beating heart of our faith, no matter what the rebellious Essenes may say. From the profane world outside, we, as Zadokite priests, move progressively toward our sacred shrine's inner sanctum, the Holy of Holies, where the Ark of the Covenant once resided, prior to the destruction of Solomon's temple, centuries ago. The chamber is empty now, but the covenant itself, emblazoned across the 5 books of Moses, the Torah, remains the focus of our lives.
The Persians were ultimately defeated by Alexander the Great, whose empire split up upon his untimely death. For a full century, we Israelites were ruled by the Ptolemies of Egypt. But the land of Israel was destined to change hands yet again.
I myself witnessed the conquest of our land by the Seleucids of Syria, who defeated the Ptolemies at the decisive Battle of Panias. Suddenly, we had a new king and overlord, Antiochus III.
I went on to take the city of Jerusalem and made special provisions for the Jewish people. I provided for repairs on the temple and issued a decree in honor of the temple, allowing the people to live according to their ancestral laws. I confirmed the status quo, recognizing the authority and rights of the Zadokite priests.
At some point during those days, as early as the 3rd or even 4th century before the Common Era, a very important text was composed. It's all about one of the sons of the biblical patriarch Jacob, namely Levi, and his appointment to priestly status. The narrative centers on Levi's instructions to his children. Only portions of the ancient text have survived, some found among the desert caves of Qumran, among a huge cache of documents collectively known as the Dead Sea Scrolls. It's occasionally referred to as the Aramaic Testament of Levi or Aramaic Levi, and is considered one of the most ancient of non-biblical texts. It appears to have been composed about the same time as the earliest parts of the book of 1st Enoch. One significant portion of the Aramaic Levi document consists of the instructions of Abraham's son Isaac to Levi, who has just been ordained a priest. There are various regulations of cultic worship, such as the types of sacrifices to be offered, as well as specifications regarding incense, oil, salt, and fine flour to accompany every kind of animal to be sacrificed. The order of the sacrifice of each animal is also designated, along with the varieties of wood to be burned on the altar. Notably, the text employs a solar calendar of 360 days, which features also in the apocryphal Book of Jubilees and the Enochic Book of Luminaries. The same solar calendar was subsequently utilized by the Dead Sea sect, who laboriously copied their library of scrolls.
For us Essenes, this document amounts to our firm rejection of the Zadokite priesthood. Levi, after all, long predated the high priest Zadok. In Levi we see an image of the ideal priesthood, uncorrupted by the pursuit of power. To you Zadokites we say this: our focus on Levi instead of Zadok amounts to nothing less than an existential challenge to your legitimacy as priests of the Second Temple, and even to the temple itself. The catalyst behind all of our thinking is the superhuman origin of evil with the rebellious angels, who contaminated God's creation by crossing the boundary between heaven and earth and revealing secret knowledge to humans. They left their heavenly abode and cohabited with earth women. The good angels, led by Michael, defeated the evil angels, led by Semiaz and Azazel. The mortal bodies of those giants of old, the offspring of the evil union of angels and women, were killed, but their immortal souls survived as evil spirits. Consequently, God's past order has been replaced by the current disorder. Restoration is a future event that will come about at the end of days.
Another text, which we can rightly call Essene in its worldview, was written very early on, perhaps as early as the 3rd or even 4th century BCE. It's known today as the Astronomical Book, or the Book of Heavenly Luminaries, and was preserved in Ethiopic translation as one section of the larger Book of Enoch, though it was originally composed in Aramaic. Important fragments of the text were found, surprisingly enough, among the Dead Sea Scrolls.
In this text, which we Essenes believe was originally written by our ancient patriarch Enoch, and which we faithfully copied, we find Enoch's ascent into the heavenly realm. He records everything in detail.
The book of the courses of the luminaries of the heaven, the relations of each, according to their classes, their dominion and their seasons, according to their names and places of origin, and according to their months, which Uriel, the holy angel, who was with me, who is their guide, showed me. And he showed me all their laws exactly as they are, and how it is with regard to all the years of the world and unto eternity, till the new creation is accomplished which endures till eternity. And first there goes forth the great luminary, named the sun, and his circumference is like the circumference of the heaven, and he is quite filled with illuminating and heating fire. The chariot on which he ascends, the wind drives, and the sun goes down from the heaven and returns through the north in order to reach the east, and is so guided that he comes to the appropriate portal and shines in the face of the heaven.
The use of the word chariot here reminds us of the prophet Ezekiel's vision, in which he sees the divine chariot throne propelled by wheels covered with eyes. The image is a forerunner of Jewish mysticism known as the Merkava tradition, meaning chariot, which later blossomed into the esoteric discipline called Kabbalah.
And after this law, I saw another law dealing with the smaller luminary, which is named the moon, and her circumference is like the circumference of the heaven, and her chariot in which she rides is driven by the wind, and light is given to her in definite measure, and her rising and setting change every month, and her days are like the days of the sun, and when her light is full, it amounts to the 7th part of the light of the sun, and thus she rises.
This book, which we deem divine and holy in origin, also includes information about the length of day and night, the position of the sun and moon on the horizon, and the visibility of the moon.
And we should note that Enoch seems to be obsessed with the cosmos, and he's subsequently considered to be the first hero in Jewish tradition to be associated with what we would call scientific material.
And Uriel, the holy angel who is the leader of them all, showed all these to me and their positions, and I wrote down their positions as he showed them to me.
This book of heavenly luminaries is also foundational to our apocalyptic understanding of the end of days. Enoch continues his narration of what he saw in the divine realm, including, among other things, the heavenly tablets.
And I observed the heavenly tablets, and read everything which was written thereon, and understood everything, and read the book of all the deeds of mankind, and of all the children of flesh that shall be upon the earth to the remotest generations. And forthwith I blessed the great Lord, the King of glory forever, in that he has made all the works of the world.
The heavenly tablets Enoch sees remind us of the books of Moses, which were central to the Judaic Judaism of the divine covenant. That may seem contradictory to Essene Enochic Judaism, which instead focused on the sin of the rebellious angels and their final judgment at the end of days. However, the heavenly tablets are by no means central to Enoch's vision, since they are only one of the things Uriel shows him. Then there's the whole issue of the calendar, which became one of the central differences between Zadokite Temple Judaism and the Enochic Essene Judaism that broke away. The Jewish calendar that has come down to us today is lunar, with an intercalation made for the solar year to keep the months on track with the seasons. But the calendar of the Essenes was solar and based on a year of 364 days.
Our holy book of heavenly luminaries makes it clear that the calendar is to be reckoned according to the sun, in contrast to the Zadokite priesthood, who eventually adopted a lunar calendar, which they assimilated from the pagans to the east. The calendar alone is sufficient reason for us Essenes to be separated from the rest of the house of Israel. After all, Enoch himself bears witness in his vision to the centrality of the sun.
And the sun and the stars bring in all the years exactly, so that they do not advance or delay their position by a single day unto eternity, but complete the years with perfect justice in 364 days. And the year is accurately completed in conformity with their world stations and the stations of the sun, which rise from the portals through which the sun rises and sets.
This holy book opens our eyes to another world, a truly divine dimension, including a vast host of angelic beings, with Uriel presiding over all. Everything is divinely determined in this world, including each year and each day. Nothing is chance. The sun, moon, and stars shine as celestial lights and are drawn by heavenly chariots.
For the signs and the times and the years and the days the angel Uriel showed to me, whom the Lord of glory hath set forever over all the luminaries of the heaven, in the heaven and in the world, that they should rule on the face of the heaven and be seen on the earth, and be leaders for the day and the night, including the sun, moon, and stars, and all the ministering creatures which make their revolution in all the chariots of the heaven.
Of course we recognize none of this, neither angels nor mystical ascents to heaven. The temple, the divine covenant with Israel, the sacrifice and the boundaries of holiness that circumscribe our daily life are the focus of our faith as Zadokite priests and leaders of our people. As for Enoch's supposed vision, I for myself have heard enough of this nonsense.
How can corrupt priests in a corrupt temple deny the primacy of our patriarch, Enoch, who is also their patriarch, as recorded in their Torah? Enoch's account is more authoritative, not less, than anything they have written, and it concludes with his holy account of his return to earth.
And those 7 holy ones brought me and placed me on the earth before the door of my house, and said to me, Declare everything to your son Methuselah, and show to all your children that no flesh is righteous in the sight of the Lord, for he is their creator.
Enoch emphasizes a great truth that stands at the heart of our theology. All have sinned. There is none righteous, no, not one. Enoch goes on to instruct his son Methuselah.
And now, my son Methuselah, all these things I am recounting to you and writing down for you, and I have revealed to you everything, and given you books concerning all these. So preserve, my son Methuselah, the books from your father's hand, and see that you deliver them to the generations of the world.
And that is how we have this holy book and preserve it to this day.
So there we have it, 2 different Judaisms, representing 2 clashing worldviews. One centered on the temple and the sacrificial system and the observance of Mosaic law. The other on the divine realm, including the secrets regarding the sin of the angels and multiple mysteries regarding the heavenly realm at the end of days. It was a conflict of ultimate dimension that would give birth to multiple sectarian movements, including, among others, the Judeo-Christians. There's so much more to come.